Week 1 of the 2025 NFL season is here, and the biggest game of the week comes on Sunday Night Football between the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills, two teams that have legitimate Super Bowl aspirations this year. And Dalton, these are two teams that met twice last year, once in the regular season, once in the playoffs. In that regular season game, the Ravens ran all over the Bills, but the Bills in the playoffs responded really well in run defense.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big key here, right? Obviously, Lamar Jackson's a former MVP, didn't win it last year, but certainly could have, right? And you're talking about a team that loves to run the football. It's the most dangerous backfield in the NFL with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. And structurally, the Bills did a nice job in the playoff game of making adjustments after getting dominated in the regular season matchup. So this is really what I'm looking for in this ball game. Are the Bills going to keep those adjustments that they made in the postseason and carry them into this year, into week 1? And look, that was the last team the Ravens had played. Obviously, they lost to the Bills in the playoffs. So what are the adjustments from the Ravens? But I'm curious to see how the Bills go about their plan to stop Lamar Jackson, stop Derrick Henry. Are they going to make Lamar Jackson beat him with his arm? That's what they did in the postseason game, and they squeaked out a big win.
So let's go over some numbers right now, starting off with the Ravens against light boxes. I do not recommend running light boxes against the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, because you look at these numbers, they were pretty elite when they had that.
Absolutely. I mean, so when we talk about light boxes, you're talking about 6 or fewer guys down on the line of scrimmage, right? Defensive linemen, linebackers, strong safeties even coming in to help. And to me, if you run consistently light boxes against the Baltimore Ravens, you should just take the white flag out of your pocket and start waving it, because this is what they do when teams don't stack the box, when they stay light, when they stay a nickel. Second in the league in rushing grade. First in yards per carry, 2.8 yards before contact per carry. We're blocking people up front. It's off the screen here, but that was first in the league in EPA per play. And this fine print right down here is what you're looking at. The way the Bills' defense is structured, they're constantly in nickel. 5 defensive backs, 2 linebackers. They run the lowest percentage of base personnel in their defense in the NFL. Just 5% of the time will they put a third linebacker out there. So what happens when the Bills do this in week 4 last season? Okay, here we go. 9 carries. That's all it took. 9 carries to get 142 rushing yards, including that big run on the first play of the game, the big touchdown run from Derrick Henry, 75 yards, 90 rushing grade, business as usual for the Ravens. And even then, if you're leaving 6 in the box and 5 back outside of the box with your defensive backs, well, Lamar Jackson found a way to kill him anyway. So the idea is to help your coverage, and that didn't work anyway. 92.3 passing grade, 9.9 yards per attempt, efficient stuff. So the Bills, look, when the Ravens can run the ball, then they can get to the play action, then they can start attacking that second level. It all works together,
Can we go back real quick? Is that 142 yards and 9 carries? Is that, 15 yards per carry, basically?
Yeah, more than that, right? Yeah, I mean, almost more than 16 yards. It's almost 16 yards a carry. Yeah, I mean, just ridiculous stuff when you talk about, again, if you voluntarily have 6 or less in the box against the Ravens for an entire game, you just walk off the field. This is the proof, and then Lamar adjusts in the passing game. Now, let's go to the playoff game. Let's make some adjustments. Sean McDermott had a lot of time, a few months to think about it. Bobby Babich, defensive coordinator, also. Here we go. Light boxes for the Bills against the Ravens in the playoff game. 4 carries, but what I want you to notice here, all of them were Lamar Jackson scrambles on pass plays. 0 design carries for the Ravens against light boxes in this game. Now, that is not because the Ravens didn't want to. It's because the Bills on early downs, and we're going to go over this in a minute, the Bills on early downs said, yeah, no, we can't come out like this. Because, again, you walk on the field like that, especially on early downs, you're giving a game away. You're just going to let Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson walk all over you on the ground. So all 44 of these rushing yards came on 4 scrambles, 60.9 passing grade. Lamar was not at the top of his game, as we know, in that game. Couple turnover-worthy plays. This is what you have to do. Stack it early. And I know, look, if there's days where Lamar Jackson plays elite football with his arm, you're probably not going to beat him anyway. You're resigned to that. But you can't let this team, because the biggest thing about stopping the run against the Ravens is not necessarily that you're going to stop them, they're only run for 30 yards that day, but you can't let them control the clock. And you have to create opportunities for your offense to succeed. For Josh Allen to get more opportunities, you're probably going to be in a shootout. You want Josh Allen to have as many opportunities to score points. So if you do stack up and stop the run on early downs, you at least give yourself a chance to get the Ravens off the field and control the clock a little bit better.
So all these numbers are great. Let's dive into some plays first from the regular season game and why the Ravens are so successful, and then in the playoffs, why they struggled a little bit.
Absolutely. So you're talking about, again, box count. So this is a free safety back at about 10, 11 yards here. I'm not going to count him. So if you look at in the box, when you're talking about how many guys the Ravens have to block, and remember, at any given point, any play could be an option where we don't block this backside end over here. That's not the case here. So let's get a count real quick. We got a lot of complicated numbers at PFF. Just know that we know how to count. Max and I, at least I know how to count. We can speak for Max later. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 in the box. Light box like I was talking about. Look how many blockers you got up front for Baltimore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive linemen, obviously, and then 2 tight ends right over. That's big Patrick Ricard, the 300-pound fullback, lining up at tight end, and then Mark Andrews as well. So, already, numbers are a problem. Hat on hat. They have more than a hat on a hat right now, and actually they can account for this safety. Here's how this play is going to go. Fun design here. We're going to go down block with the right guard here. We're going to free up Tyler Linderbaum to get to the second level. Really athletic guy, he can do that. Roger Rosengarten going to just block out the edge because the idea is we're going to get right in here. That's where Derrick Henry wants to go. Now, how do we account for Ed Oliver? I got a big 300-pound fullback that's going to come block him down. Now you see the crease if Rosengarten gets this block right through here. Mark Andrews going to get a free release on the safety. That always feels good. Same idea here. We're going to get a down block back all the way here on this defensive end. We're going to release Ronnie Stanley to get to this linebacker. If he even gets a hand on him, that's successful. Inside gap, that's fine. But that's where we're going with this, is right through this lane. If Ricard and Rosengarten clear this out, they should be able to do it. And we've got numbers. Now, we'll go to the next slide. Look at the crease. That's already, Derrick Henry just got the handoff. This is the exact crease I was talking about right here. You've got Linderbaum getting the angle on the second level. Here's the down block from Ricard. Fantastic. We're starting to get the angle. And this is right at the Bills' best run defender, Greg Rousseau, okay? We're running right at him. We're not afraid of anybody because we have the numbers. Backside's getting the angle. Stanley hopefully can get here. Down block there. You can see already the last remaining piece of this already, and this is just getting the handoff, is just Mark Andrews getting up on this free safety. We got that. Guess what? This is how 80-yard touchdowns happen. Look at this. I mean, we are just hitting the hole here, and here goes Andrews on the safety. Backside is absolutely the only guy that kind of sort of didn't make their block was Ronnie Stanley, but that's so far in the backside. Not worried about it. He got a hand on him. I'm not even going to show the rest of it. This right here is how 80-yard touchdowns happen because you're outnumbered, or at least there's hat on hat. Even if you include the safety, it's 7-on-7 advantage Ravens. Let's go here. Now, fun play. We're going to pull my center and my left guard here out to the left. Ronnie Stanley's going to be down here. Mark Andrews down here on Greg Rousseau. Again, running on the Bills' best player. Why? Because we have numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out there. And the fun part is you see Zay Flowers in motion. Now motion starts to mess with it. You see Balen Spector here. Now he's not a starting linebacker, but the momentum is already going with the motion. He's going to take himself out of the play. Guess what else is going to happen? I don't even need to block this guy because we're getting out here, pulling, hit the first thing you see on the outside. Tyler Linderbaum pulling, hit the first thing you see on the inside. We're actually Henry's going to take a jab step and then get back out here on this sweep, cut off if you have to, but this linebacker's already going to be gone. We've got numbers. Again, we've got 5 on 6, but one's getting taken out, and we're not counting this end. So it's really 5 on 5 going this way. Let's look at what we have on the outside. You can see it developing already. We've got the angle on this down block. We got the angle on this down block. That linebacker's gone. He's not a part of it. I got 2 guys that aren't a part of it. So what before looked like 6 on 5, because of the way we're running this, just became 5 on 4, right? And I've already got angles on all these guys. Even it looks like, oh, he's got his back turned. Just box him out. That's all you got to do on the backside. And you can already see, oh boy, here come my 2 big offensive linemen. Here they go with nobody else on the screen out here on the edge. And there goes Derrick Henry again. And then we get to this last shot. Look at this. I mean, this and this. Max, there's 2 things that can happen on this play. One is good and one is great, okay? Derrick Henry, free safety. There's 2 things that can happen. You either gut up and make this tackle, and it's a 7-yard gain, which is still good for the offense, or he stiff arms you and he's gone. In this case, yes, Taylor Rapp made the tackle, but we're untouched for 7 yards here, right? This is the problem when you have this numbers advantage and you're the Bills defense and you're just giving them this numbers advantage. And 2 guys got taken out of the play with the motion and the design of the play. This is the space. You can't have big gaping holes like this for Derrick Henry to run through, or you're just giving the game away.
Absolutely. So let's show the playoff game now. What changed in this playoff game, and why were the Ravens not as successful as they were in the regular season?
Well, I'm very glad I know how to count. I learned how to do that in first grade, maybe earlier. I don't know, maybe it took me a little longer, but I know how to do it now. I'm 31 years old. I know how to count. So, first thing that changed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Numbers. It's that simple. Now, you look up front. 5 offensive linemen, tight end, fullback. 7. And we're under center, so I don't have to worry about the option threat. I've got 8 on 7. At a certain point, it is this simple. It's that you got to have more bodies. If you can't stop them with 6, there are teams who can stop the run with 6 bodies. Philadelphia, right? That's the best one, Vic Fangio, but they're really good. The Bills front 7, they don't have as much talent as the Eagles front 7, so they need more numbers, right? All this is going to be very simple. Inside zone play with Patrick Ricard leading up. Here we go. We're going to block this out. We're going to read here. We're going to get my center, trying to get to the second level here, and we're going to cut off and just cut off. Simple inside zone play, right? But again, numbers, and then Ricard's going to lead on up here, right? It's going to be this simple. Now, it's a lot harder because numbers, right? Again, we're 8 on 7 now, advantage Bills, and you can feel it. Now, not only do you have the numbers, you also have some guys who can win blocks, and the other thing I want you to see is forcing cutbacks, right? Edge is set here. Ed Oliver does a nice job setting outside here. Matt Milano, keep it. Funnel it back inside. You can't just let Derrick Henry have the edge. So it's getting funneled back towards the cutback. Ricard's going to take on Milano here. You're forcing him back towards the A-gap. And look at this. You give yourself a chance, okay, if you correct things on the front side and you have the numbers, to let a backside player make a play. Greg Rousseau coming in there. This is the first play of the game, I believe, in this playoff game. What do you have? Stuffed here, here's Greg Rousseau, here's the front side accounted for. Maybe there was a crease, maybe not, but you gave us a chance with all the numbers you have. Let's go to the next one. Now, we're going to run that play again where we're pulling the left guard. We're going to pull the left guard. We're going to pull Tyler Linderbaum, the center again. What are we going to get? Down block right here from Ronnie Stanley. Mark Andrews is going to get up in here on a linebacker on Matt Milano. We're going to seal, and we're going to seal on the backside. Same play we ran before. Going this way, not worried about this motion man. Somebody's got him. Rasul Douglas has him man-to-man coverage. Going right this way, same as we did before, okay? Roll it. Here we go. What I want you to see, 1, numbers game. More physical as well up front. Ebenezer takes on the puller. Great stuff. Close down this space. Linderbaum's trying to get up in here on a safety. Good block here, but again, if you have more numbers, and what I want you to see also, when you have 5 on the defensive line, this is a previous slide, right? When you start stacking guys up in here, you can get a little tighter and you can slant because there's more backside help on these cutbacks, right? That's what you get right here from Daquan Jones. Look, funnel this, set the edge, and get right in here from the backside. Make him cut back. You can't just give him the edge, right? So, and everything's been an emphasis now. You see this? Setting the edge at multiple layers, okay? So now you get here, and again, a play with no gain. 2 guys in on the tackle. Epenezer's in here somewhere after setting the edge. Daquan Jones in on the backside. That's exactly what you're looking for. Last one. This is going to be even the easiest one. So, this blur right here is Isaiah Likely going in motion. I don't know if he missed a block or what he was supposed to do, but he just kind of leaves the play alone. This is simple. This is going to be outside zone from the shotgun. So we're going to want to reach. We're going to reach and get to linebacker. We're going to reach here, and we're going to get to the second level here. And in theory, this should work, and Mark Andrews is going to come all the way back here on this wham block, okay? That's the idea. You got outside zone with a split, with a wham block, okay? Henry's going to get to the corner if he can. If not, he's going to cut it up. Now, again, what I want you to notice, box count. I'm not even going to count Rasul Douglas right now here because he's man-to-man on this motion man coming through. But 1, 2, 3, 4, they're coming this way with the motion. 5, 6, 7, and even you've got a slot here. You got enough bodies in here where you can help this. You got 6, even if we go with 7 on 6. Feel good about it. Maybe the 7th guy's his backside guy. It's a read option as well with Lamar Jackson. You get that. Let's go. Here we go. Couple of things you have. Damar Hamlin was free right off the edge here, right? Because if Andrews is leaving, okay, and Rosengarten's reaching here on Rousseau, there's nobody left for Damar Hamlin. Nobody's left. So when we go to this next slide, we see, oh, he's just free. Nobody blocked him because of the design, and you had too many numbers. Rousseau is blocked here. This is done right by Baltimore, right? We're going to get up in here, and we're going to seal with Linderbaum. But a couple of things you see here. There's 4 things I want you to see. I know it's a lot. Free here. Cross and face here, This we didn't get to cross face, but we're pushing this in here. Okay, fine. Get physical and seal off this backside lane. And then this is important. Don't crash. You got numbers, you got the advantage. Don't crash. Don't let Lamar Jackson sneak out on the backside. All of these things, this is team run defense, better team run defense, and better numbers from the Bills. And look, you can see already, free runner on the front side. Guess who's making the play for a loss in the backfield? There's DeMar Hamlin. There's my backside crash here. This was a hesitation. Make sure Lamar hands it off and then go get in on it. And this is how the numbers for the Bills up front, they have to do this. They can't just leave 6 in the box on early downs. They have to run more plays like this and fronts like this. And if he turns up and he beats you with his arm downfield, then so be it. But you can't just let this team control the game on the ground.
So clearly, Sean McDermott would be smart to employ the same strategy he had in the playoff game that he did in the regular season game. Because like Dalton just said, football sometimes is a numbers game.